Hello everyone, it's Nick Peters, a gaming theologian, and I affirm the virgin birth. Tonight we are going to visit a matriarchal society in the city of Troia and discussing how should men honor women, and in turn, what do men really want in a relationship with a woman? Okay, so as always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching, drop us a message in the chat, because that's the only way right now I can think of I can really know you're watching. And I've had people from my church come and say, "Hey, I watched that stream that you did." Sorry, bad allergies now. And where if you're watching live right now, it's always encouraging if I know you're watching. Okay, I'm going to buy this for reasons that will become clear later on. So, Troia is a city that is where the castle, at least, is really ruled by women. And so, this is a contrast to much of our culture today, which is ruled by men. And when I'm thinking of this, I think, what is it that men want from women? And how should men properly treat women? See, the danger in our society is because now that we live in a culture heavily impacted by feminism, this comes with it an us versus them mentality, which is common with Marxism. And yes, feminism is cut from the same cloth. These are black chocobos here. And these, we're told, can fly. So that's going to become relevant later on as well. And this is a problem with NPCs. They never really seem to know when they're supposed to get out of the way. Where at the start, the Bible is not shy about feminine beauty. Now, one of the things we're going to see here is what this pass gets me. 10,000 gear spent on it. And here's what you get. Yeah, I kind of wonder if they ever did a live action remake of this game. I can only imagine what they would do with a scene like this, because in 16-bit pixels, there's not much that's risque about this really, but I can imagine what they would do with updated graphics. I'm pretty sure someone's probably already done this with AI to some extent. But the Bible, when it talks about female beauty, it really isn't shy. Think about the Song of Songs, for instance. Especially when you get to chapter 4 and chapter 7. I have a professor here who describes the Song of Songs as that book that you read on the back of the bus on the way home from youth group because you were told you weren't supposed to. Yeah, and there are a lot of passages in there. I've heard rumors that you weren't supposed to read it as a Jewish man until you were 30. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But the Bible does not deny that women are beautiful, rightfully so. Because, ladies, you are. I don't know how else I can say that, but yep, women are pretty. I got someone in here. So, what are we supposed to do with this? Because while a woman's beautiful, at the same time, we're not supposed to exploit her beauty. We're supposed to treasure it and keep it as something to be honored and held in esteem. Which means men, and I know women are struggling with this more, but men, we especially tend to, no pornography. Pornography demeans a woman, and at the same time, it demeans yourself. You get lowered every time you watch pornography because it will get you in a mindset that you cannot get a woman any other way, which is a dangerous mindset to be in. I'm going to try something interesting here just to see if it'd work. See if anything would happen if I turned myself into a frog. Nope. Okay. Well, that's an interesting experiment. Because the message it will give you is the only way you can see a woman's body is if you steal a look at it through something like pornography. And you will train your mind to respond to an image on a screen more than to a real woman. Unfortunately, no, they haven't given me permission to enter yet. That will come. And if all you have is pornography, well, what's the point in going out there and getting a real woman at that point? Especially if you think all that a woman is good for is her beauty. So, and yes, in case people are wondering out there, I do not watch pornography a bit. I'm one of those rare guys that it's never been a struggle for. And I don't mean that to beat up on people who do have that struggle. We all have our own different struggles. And well, here's Edward, who we haven't seen since the Leviathan an incident. And he's telling Terla that Anna died because of him. That he can never atone for what happened. I don't understand how it says on here the crystal was in the hands of a dark elf. We haven't been told that yet, but that's a programming error. And Edward gives us the twin harp at this point. And here we see the matriarch of society. He's the nurse, she's the doctor. But yeah, the dark elf has the crystal. Now, if men are supposed to avoid pornography, and we are, women, do not get yourself an OnlyFans. Okay? Because if you do that, you're enabling the society that you are often railing against. You're telling men, you can look at my body if you pay me so much money. Is that what you're worth? That if someone has a big enough checkbook, they get access to your body? Is that the way you want it to be? Because if so, then you have a low view of yourself. And yes, we know exactly what is going on when you pull up to the gym and you're in those skin-tight clothes. Look, men are going to notice, okay? It's not because we're pigs, it's because, well, we're men. And men notice beautiful women. That's the way we are designed. What we do with that notice is one thing, but we notice. Now, the next thing we have to get to is what men are looking for in marriage. And much of what I see on this actually comes from videos and claims I've seen made by women who are trying to reach other women on this. Before that, point out this cavern, anything made of metal will slow you down, pretty much essentially paralyze you in battle. So that's why we have to equip items that are not metal, which means we're putting ourselves at a disadvantage. But it has to be done just for the time being. Young's claws are just fine, though. So, what does a man want from a wife? And when he's going out there and he's trying to find someone, what is he looking for? Now, a lot of women will say, it's all about looks. It's what a man cares about. I'm not going to deny looks can get you in the door. See, that was the arrows turning from the ogre to stone. But they aren't the whole deal. Because you can look like a supermodel, but if you do not have the right personality, men will not care. They will flee someone like that very quickly. See if we can turn these things into pigs. Yeah, these are some of the most dangerous enemies in the cave because their needle attack does so much damage. So let's do a very big here of Curaga here. And when you talk about how a woman looks, here's the good news also for you ladies. You don't have to look like a supermodel anyway. Most men think women are absolutely gorgeous anyway. even when you think you look plain and ordinary at times. We don't think that way. A man can look at a woman he loves and pretty much say she's stunning either way. That's what good men do, at least. And a lot of the things you think really matter to you, they don't matter to us. So, a woman can often spend a lot of time on makeup, for instance. Most men I talk to, we don't care. If anything, naturally, we prefer a woman to look natural. The natural look is really big for us. But once we get past all of this, the question a man is most asking about someone he's interested in is, will she bring peace? Scripture says it's better to live on the corner of a roof and share a house with a nagging wife. Men do not want that. They don't want someone else to be a mother to them again. Men want someone that when they come home at the end of a day, that person is going to support them. They're not going to try and tear them down or anything like that. See, men love the thought of fighting for the women they love. They do not love the thought of fighting for women they love. Men don't want a relationship where we think we have to walk on eggshells. And unfortunately, feminism has done this to a lot of women, where they view themselves as in competition with men. And you can see videos about women who talk about doing something for their husbands, like having a house ready for them that's picked up when they come home at the end of a day, and someone in the comments whenever we say, and what's he doing for you, darling? Well, let me just give a start of what he's doing. He's going out and working a full day many times because he's trying to provide for a woman he loves. Someone would say, well, that's not a sacrifice. He'd do that anyway. Yeah, he'd have to. But the thing is, a man will work even harder when he has someone he's working for. This is why men who are married tend to earn more money, and they will also usually live longer, be healthier overall. And that's if they have a good spouse who is supportive of them. Peace is such a big thing to a man. A lot of women I see on their profiles will put material down about, well, I own my own home. Guy doesn't care. If anything, he might even see that as a turnoff, because he could say, okay, so you're telling me you have an exit strategy just in case? Or if women describe themselves as strong and independent, again, guy doesn't care. You can call yourself that all day long. When men get together and they're talking about the women in their lives, if someone has a new girl he's interested in, no one is going to ask, where is she strong or independent? They don't care that much about their career. They don't care if where does she have her own house? They don't. They will care about how she looks to an extent, but the main thing they're going to be asking about is her personality. How does she treat him? And if you're someone who has a chip on your shoulder against all men, you're going to be less likely to find one. Because men aren't interested in that. Something else we've got going on in our culture today is the walk away movement. And what is this? It's that men are walking away from romantic relationships for the most part. And why are they doing this? Because women are being a source of chaos, not peace. We saw it, for instance, with the whole Me Too movement. And most men do oppose sexual harassment, of course. But the problem with the whole movement was that anything was considered sexual harassment. And we go again to the scene of a woman at the gym, working out and wearing something very skin tight, and she complains when a guy notices her and puts it all over social media about what a creep this person is. Well, what happens after a while? Men don't bother, because we get the message. You think we're a creep? Okay, then we're going to respond accordingly and avoid you. See, if you want a man to do something, it's very simple, ladies. Praise him. Men respond to praise very well. If you're married and you want your husband to do the dishes, let's say, and he does them, and you come over then and criticize how he did them and tell him he didn't do it the right way, odds are it's going to be a long time before he does anything like that again to help out. Because he learned the message. If you don't do things just the right way, you get criticized. So why bother? Why put forward the effort if you are just going to be criticized? Praise instead. Praise works so well. Men saw I Choose the Bear. We saw several women saying that they would rather meet a bear in the woods than meet a man. Now, ladies, when you went on social media and saying this, here's what happens. The good guys out there, by the way, most of those guys live in what's known as your friend zone. They looked at that and said, oh, well, if that's how she sees a man, I'm going to stay away. The bad guys would look and see that and say, yeah, so what? I don't care. I just want to come for you to just get an easy lay one night, hit it and quit it, and then I'm going on my way. So what do I care how you see me? The movement discouraged good men and it encouraged bad men. And we see women going on social media making fun of guys who try to approach them, who try to ask them out. And I don't see how many times I've seen clips of women going online complaining about men, but especially husbands and boyfriends, their husbands and boyfriends, recording private conversations and putting them up on social media for all the world to see. That doesn't do you any good. Okay, the first battle against the Dark Elf, and I can guarantee you pretty much this will be lost. I suppose you could get to a point where you eventually do win this battle somehow, but I haven't seen it done. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try, but I'm just saying I haven't seen it done. Because see, that's how strong his magic is at this point. And once the party falls, Cesar says if he could only use his sword. And this is where Edward stands up to be the hero. That men respond to respect. And if you go on social media and embarrass them, shame them, they will want nothing to do with you. They will look and say, if this is the way women treat men, I'm not interested. The thing is, if a good girl does come along, a guy is very interested. And Edward's harp destroys the magnetic field situation. So now we're going to re-equip everything. Oh, okay, I can't do that one. Enemies here are particularly weak to the legendary sword. Go back and save. There's clips you can see of women saying they're going out to the bars and any place like that, and men are not approaching. Why not? Because men were told that women wanted them to women wanted them to leave them alone. And men said, "Okay, we'll leave you alone." They got what they wanted. It hasn't worked well. When women try to control men, things go wrong out there. And this is the work of feminism, I think. It's done tremendous harm, and most women are affected by it, and they don't even realize it. I definitely recommend reading Rachel Wilson's Occult Feminism. It's a very eye-opening book. I mean, I was saying, well, men don't seem to be opening doors or getting up seats on a bus or subway or train or anything like that. Yeah, same principle. When we did it, we had accusations thrown at us, so now men are no longer doing it. Now, I personally, I still hold open doors for women. Because however they treat me, I'm still going to try to honor women. Now let's talk about this battle for a little bit first here. You're going to see many of the same things taking place here from him, but it's going to do a whole lot less damage this time. Although Tornado, if it connects, would still always reduce someone to single digits. Like that. And now the fight begins. But here's a little tip here. This guy is weak to Tornado himself. Which unfortunately did not hit that time. And rather than risk things, I'm going to use Curasia this time. So, ladies, here's something simple. If a man tries to do something nice for you, holds open the door, things of that sort, just say, thank you. It goes a long way. Men regularly say they cannot remember the last time a woman really thanked them for something. Men also do not usually get compliments. We're aside from maybe our mothers, but that's about it. A few years ago, at the post office here where I work, I was doing a class in the back that I had to present, I think, one day, and it was a 3-hour thing. It was one time that I was going to be doing this. And I told my boss, a woman, said that if you need me, let me know, and I'll try and do what I can to come out here and help. But she later wrote a note and said about how, says, now I think you should stay back here. And I talked about how I wanted to just do good for the company, do good, be a good employee, and help out in need. And she put a note on there saying, and she was already married, just so you guys know, but she said, you are always appreciated here. I took that note home and I put it somewhere safe. Because that's how much such a compliment like that meant to me. Men respond to praise. We respond to compliments. And we are used to just getting criticism. Now, if you do marry, when people do get married, yes, men do want intimacy with their wives. Physical intimacy means so much to them. And one of the reasons is this is how we actually feel closest to the women we love. If you want a parallel, imagine what it would be like if your husband went without talking to you. Real conversation for a long time. It'd be devastating. And he shouldn't do that. He should be willing to speak with you. In fact, it should be something joyful for him to speak to you. So by the way, if he isn't enjoying speaking to you, then yes, maybe you might want to consider why that is, just as much as if a woman doesn't enjoy being intimate with her man, he needs to look and say, why is that? But your man wants to feel close to you. And usually it's recommended for couples to try to aim for at least being intimate one night a week. At least that much. Your man will feel appreciated and respected, and he will want to do more things for you. Men will usually do things good for their wives, regardless. But for them, they can be practically running on empty at that point. And it's not because he's a pervert. It's because this is how God made men. And then we're saying a happy gaming, Nick. Thank you so much. It's not a bad thing. See, usually, I think both of the sexes tend to look at the way they approach the situation, in any case, and think they are the norm, and the other sex should be like them. We're not going to be. We are different, and that's the way we are supposed to balance one another out, to help one another work together. And ladies, if you're self-conscious about how you look, don't be. Because if you've got a good man, he is not self-conscious about how you look. He's stunned in a very good way. He cannot get enough of you. And I don't care how hard you are on yourself in that sense, how bad you think you look. In his eyes, he married a supermodel. And he means it when he says it. He is happy that he has you. And if you are confident around him and trust what he says, he will be a much happier man. But if your man compliments you and you argue against him, you're pretty much calling him a liar. It won't work well. If your man compliments you, accept it. Treasure it. These men do not ask a lot. We really don't. The big thing we want is we just want peace. We want to come home at the end of the day and know that you are in our corner, that you will support us. And if that means you fix a meal for your husband regularly, you pack his lunch, then go with that. Because I guarantee you, the more you do things, you will have a man who will bend over backwards if he's a good man to do whatever he can for you. Because men love showing love to their women. And here Tella and Edward reconcile. And as I say this, yes, I'm still looking for a special lady I can treasure. And should I find her, yep, she'll be treasured. Are there some men out there that are creeps? Yes, and most men want nothing to do with them. But there are a lot of good men out there, ladies. Check your friend zone a lot of times. And now here's Cain saying to board a ship and we will be taken to Rosa. Which, yes, Cesar is doing all of this because he loves a woman. Most men don't want to do less. And people, please, well, we're going to do this battle first, right quick. Anyway, I didn't explain the study power that Sid has. Pretty much just gives you statistics of an enemy, their hit points, and what they're weak against. And if anyone thinks anything I say was meant to just be hard on women and down women, not a bit. Men love women. We truly want to treasure them. Unfortunately, now it's being so hard that the term that a man uses for a good woman nowadays is a unicorn. Ladies, if you can be that woman, you will have men doing whatever they can to get to you. Cat claw, very nice to have. But I'm not going to equip it because I like confusing my enemies more. As always, people, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Please consider joining my Patreon. It means so much. There is a link in the description. Thanks to the people who showed up in the chat. Always good to have you here. Next time we're going to go to the Tower of Zot. The Tower of Zot to try and see if we can rescue Rosa. For now, I'm Nick Peters, the Gaming Theologian, and I'm signing off.